Welcome to Issues and Answers with Diane Kinderwater. Issues and Answers is presented as a public service to inform, educate, and better the lives of New Mexicans. And now, Issues and Answers with your host, Diane Kinderwater.
Welcome to the program. I'm Diane Kinderwater. In our lifetime, through the years, I'm sure all of you, including me, have heard of the pageants of Mrs. America. We've heard of Miss USA. We've heard of Miss Teen, even Mrs. America. Well, in the program today, we're going to introduce you to Mrs. USA Earth. It is a pageant, and it's a pageant where this title promotes social responsibility, conservation, and of course the sustainability of the earth. So we've heard of all these pageants before. We're going to talk to Mrs. USA Earth and find out what the program is about, what the pageant is about, and how she, Mrs. USA Earth, is representing New Mexico. She won the national title and hoping to go on to the international title. We'll be back with Mrs. USA Earth right after this. Stay with us. This is the kind of a first time in a long time that the pageant winner for New Mexico has gone on to win the national title of Mrs. USA Earth, and I'm so proud and so pleased to have Catherine Chaya as my guest on the program today. Catherine, congratulations and thanks for representing New Mexico nationally and now internationally as you head towards the Mrs. USA, the Mrs. Earth pageant in Trinidad Tobago.
Yes.
That'll be in November, I believe.
Yes,
and
November.
Again, the show may be on by the time that pageant is over, but we're so pleased that you represented New Mexico in the Mrs. USA Earth pageant. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. That was 3 years of in the making. Nothing was an overnight success for me. I worked very, very hard for almost 3.5 years to get this national crown. I represented New Mexico with other organizations, so I was able to get out into my community, doing that community service and representing New Mexico in the best way that I know how.
I met you at the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. You were there. What were you doing at the fiesta as Mrs. USA Earth?
Yes, well, you know, people want to see a queen of action. And so I love going to these international events, regional events, and helping promote and advocate in any way that I can for positive items and, you know.
Sure, of course. And the promotion, the mission of the Mrs. USA Earth is quite impressive. Yeah. Again, that is promoting social responsibility, conservation, and sustainability of the earth. Yeah. So we've heard of beauty pageants, as I said at the beginning of the program, Miss America, Miss Teen, Miss USA. How does this pageant compare to those? And is this considered a beauty pageant?
Oh, well, yes, absolutely it is. And basically the Mrs. Earth organization has been around for 18 years and always around that social responsibility, teaching others how we can conserve this earth for our future generations. And we can do that by these small daily, I like to call it green actions, that we do every day will eventually add up to a collective, bigger impact. And the more people who participate, of course, the more likelihood of this happening.
And the more that we know when they see you at these various events, that's one of your opportunities or responsibilities as Mrs. USA Earth.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about the pageant, and then we're going to talk more about the mission. What were you judged on? When was it held? You again represented New Mexico nationally and won the crown for New Mexico, more or less.
Yay!
Yeah. So when was the pageant? I mean, you won the New Mexico title.
Yes.
And then tell me about that.
So basically, a lot of pageants don't have state directors. So what they do is you interview with the national director of the organization, and they appoint the title to you. Now there are other pageants like Miss USA and other organizations, they do have a state title, but when they don't, they have an at-large title. And then you can get to work in your community. And after that, you go to the national pageant, which was in Orlando, Florida, just 2 months ago. And you compete in front of a set of judges, and you do have an interview that is 50% of your score. And you do
Interview based on what?
Interview is about your platform. How involved are you in your community around your platform? Are you doing fundraising? You know, how much of a queen of action are you truly? And then they also judge you on stage presence. So there is a physical fitness area. So some do swimsuit and some do actual fitness wear. So for national level, we did do swimsuit, but when I go to the international level in 1 month in Trinidad and Tobago, I will be doing fitness wear, you know, because we have to be sensitive to the other cultures. This is women of the world, and everybody has a different perspective of how we should be portrayed, right? I mean, I think USA is a little bit more open of a country when it comes to wearing the swimsuit and how it is seen. But we also have a country costume or state costume. So when I go to Trinidad, I will be representing the USA and be very patriotic in that way. And then, this is super fun, at the international level, you also have an eco-wear. So something that you're recycling or reusing, repurposing. So I found a local seamstress designer here in Albuquerque. Her name is Kathleen, and she is making me a cocktail dress out of newspaper and magazine. It is so phenomenal.
I'd love to see what the headlines are right here, huh?
I know, right? That's a good idea. So she's actually making ruffles and pleats out of this material, and I just love the repurposing of that eco-wear. And sometimes there's a talent. I'm not doing the talent. I chose eco-wear in that position. And then, of course, there's evening gown, which shows your poise, how elegant you are, and how you present yourself.
Fantastic. Thanks for explaining that pageant. The New Mexico, when you were awarded the at-large title, and you were, you conducted an interview, what types of things were they interested in knowing about you? How engaged you are regarding the earth, or how engaged you are in the community in other activities?
All the above. This is an earth title, so they do want to see how you are being socially responsible. How are you sharing how to have eco-wellness, and that's why I started 3 of my programs and to get me out into the community. One is called All in the Legacy of My Mother. I helped my mother, I was her main caregiver through the hospice process this past year. And that's not an easy process, and we all need assistance in some way or another. And so I would bring my therapy dog, which is Linus, and he, as I would walk through the facility, I would watch people with dementia looking at the floor, and then all of a sudden seeing Linus and I and waving us over, wanting to engage and living in that moment again and being happy. Maybe, taking away that isolation and loneliness that they were feeling earlier in that day by just having an animal being present.
So that was one of your organizations that you explained at the New Mexico interview, how engaged you are in the community. What else did you explain to them?
Also, how I, as a cancer survivor, as someone who has overcome infertility, I had to really lean into my natural holistic ways. I am a holistic health practitioner. I have been for 4.5 years, and I am a firm believer of mixing Eastern and Western medicine. And how I've done that is taking natural elements from the earth to help heal me. And
I think we should do another program on that.
Okay.
Let's do that on your therapy dog and on your eco health
Okay.
wellness. That's interesting.
Yeah, so we'll
we don't
get
have
into
enough
that.
time on Mrs. USA Earth to talk
Right.
about that, but we'll welcome you back to talk about that.
Okay, great.
And your third activity?
I'm starting a school tour called Eco Heroes, and what I'll be doing is I'll be visiting the schools here in Albuquerque and throughout New Mexico, and I'll be teaching them how to recycle. Not everything is recyclable, how to do local cleanups, and also the proper pet care and pet safety. For example, don't leave your dog in a hot car. It's just little things that we need to be reminded of to make sure we're taking care of not only of our animals but of our earth and ourselves.
At these events, at these pageants, what other activities are women involved in that you heard of? I mean, this is what you're doing here in New Mexico. Do you recall what some other women are doing across the country?
Absolutely. First of all, these women are not only beauty queens, they are lawyers, they are doctors, holistic health practitioners. We all come from a different background, and something has happened in our life that has triggered us to do something bigger than us. Maybe overcome a disease, animal rescue. There are ALS awareness. I mean, you name it, cancer, other cancer survivors. We all have a national organization that we have partnered with and that we are bringing more awareness around. So that's what we do individually, not only in our state, but on a nationwide basis.
So that's all the women you met. Are you staying in contact with some of them, Catherine?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, this pageantry is not only doing good in your community, but it is also about the sisterhood. You are meeting other like-kind women who are professional, who want to better themselves. This whole pageant process is not for the weary, okay? It is not. I mean, you will cry, you will do blood, sweat, and tears all around, but that's part of the growth, that personal growth that you go through. Because I know my purpose on life is to keep growing as a person and then helping my community thrive. So that's what we do collectively.
You said a lot of the women who you met in this, Catherine, had overcome something to be in the pageant. Their choice. What did you overcome, and why did you want to be Miss USA Earth?
Well, I mean, my journey didn't start with Earth. It started around kind of figuring myself out again, especially after COVID. I needed to get out of my COVID funk and find my purpose again. And I was just overcoming cancer. So I think becoming a cancer survivor and then overcoming infertility as a result of the cancer, I mean, those are major life changes that are hard.
Those are major.
Yes.
Not just one, but two.
Yes.
Major life changes.
I mean, especially when you as a little girl, you just grow up and society tells you, okay, you need to produce a child or whatever it is, and then you can't. And yes, there are other options like fostering and adopting, which is something my husband and I are still looking at. But personally, you need to get over those thresholds and work through the pain. So I think the reason I started pageantry is I needed to find through my pain, find that purpose. And so by helping others, you help yourself heal. And that's why I started my programs in different ways and in different years. I've had all different kinds of programming, but the past I've done in the public school systems here in Albuquerque is my vision boarding program. And that is just helping children dream in a different way and in a creative way. And when you put
vision boarding?
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
Part of the program as well.
Okay.
I had never heard of vision board. Well, I never heard of the other topics either, but we'll talk. And I had never heard of Mrs. USA Earth.
Yes.
Never heard of that.
Yes.
So you, through this pain after COVID, after all of us endured pain, you had tremendous pain. A lot of people lost family members, loved ones. You did a search and you found the different pageants, or how did you discover?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Mrs.
word of
USA
mouth,
Earth.
word of mouth. You talk to other contestants. If you're real serious, you get a coach, and they'll give you some advice.
But this actual pageant, I had never heard. I've heard of
Oh,
Miss America,
yes.
Miss USA, Miss Teen, and there's a Mrs. America as well.
Yes, which I competed in. Yes, that was my first pageant, the Mrs. America, and then I went to USOA pageants, and now I'm here at Earth. My passion, again, in the legacy of my mother, I wanted to, once I saw the real true results of assisted animal therapy in our healthcare system, I wanted to bring that to more masses, to more seniors, to more sick children in hospitals. You can bring therapy animals anywhere, and they will help reduce stress and anxiety. There's just all around just bringing that unconditional love that we all need in our life.
You said that the 3 years, this was 3 years of
In
toil.
the making. Oh, yes. A lot of disappointment, a lot of overcoming that disappointment and keep going forward, to achieve your dreams.
When I see disappointment, I see a big sash saying Mrs. USA.
I know, right?
That's
right.
representing our nation. So, but prior to that, there were some disappointments.
Big time.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's okay. I mean, healing doesn't happen in a straight line. Goals, the final result doesn't happen in a straight line. I mean, you just need, if you really want it, then what are you going to do? You're going to go for it, and you're going to make it happen. So.
And it takes an effort. It's not just given. It's not just given to you.
Right, and it also takes a tribe. I mean, this is not something that you can do by yourself. I mean, listen, there are some naturals out there who can. I am not one of them. I need a team, and that's okay. I've learned how to ask for help, and not be embarrassed about it.
What kind of team are we talking about?
Like
Catherine?
interview coaches, walking coaches. When you're on stage, there's a different walk for evening gown versus fitness. Okay, there's on-stage question, so that you got to learn how to deal with the butterflies and keep your head together under pressure. These are all skills that you can take to real life. For a job interview, being a project manager, being a leader in your community. And, because of pageantry, I'm now president of Executive Women International, which is a business group chapter here in Albuquerque, but it's also a nationwide nonprofit organization. And we champion literacy awareness. And here in Albuquerque, we've also added STEM education program. So we do all kinds of things. We give out college scholarships, and then we champion literacy and STEM education. So, because of the skill sets that I learned in pageantry, I can now transfer that to real life to become a successful human. So,
And help others along the way with what you've learned. Why is it a Mrs. USA, Mrs. and rather than Miss?
Because I am married, and I celebrate married women. We are different kind of, I think, married women, we bring a different kind of leadership. We are just living a different time in our life, so we have a different perspective to offer. As a miss is living her best life and has a different perspective to offer. The great thing about pageantry is not only do we have a Mrs., a Miss, we have a Ms., MS. For the single ladies out there or previously divorced or whatever it is, we have an elite for our senior pageant ladies. So there's different categories to celebrate different times in your life. So.
Did not know that. That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
What have you been doing since you received this crown as Mrs. USA? Of course, I saw you here at our international event. You've been traveling the country as well. And when you travel, what are you telling folks? What are they wanting to know about you?
Mm-hmm.
And what are you promoting, Catherine?
Well, I think so far, only having this title for 2 months, barely 2 months, is that I am sharing the importance of having assisted animal therapies in our healthcare system.
Oh,
okay.
so still your message you're carrying. I thought there was a media message that the national
yeah.
organization gave
I
as
want
well.
to inspire change around eco-wellness. you know, it's about those small daily changes that we make that will make that bigger impact, not only for our grandchildren, but the future generations. And I'm going to teach you and share with you through video series, my Eco Wellness with Catherine, how we can take those natural elements from the earth to help heal ourselves and just make, you know, more awareness.
But what is the pageant asking you to promote? Those are your organizations, and we're going to talk about
Yeah.
them in another
Oh
show.
no, and that's what the pageant is asking me to do, is just promote your platforms and also get out the word by doing interviews like this about the Mrs. Earth organization, so that we can attract more delegates to the organization, so that these women can create their own ripple effect around the environment.
So once they see this, and perhaps a viewer, a grandma can tell her granddaughter or herself
Yes,
to do it,
right?
to become part of this pageant. And once they are part of this pageant, then they get more involved in the sustainability and promoting conservation and
you
things.
start different partnerships with different climate control you know, corporations, and that's what I'm doing. I'm going through a certification in a couple weeks to become part of a new environmental group where I learn more about climate control and what's really going on. And this is a partnership with Al Gore that I'll be getting trained with. So I'm super excited about that. And once I learn more, I'll be able to share more about that. But it's just that constant education. There's so much going on on this planet Earth. And
what have you learned that you can share that you've learned since you've been part of this pageant?
Well,
about the Earth that
I think it can be overwhelming. There are so many
yes.
there are so many areas where we can make improvement. Our ocean, cleaning up the beach sides. What are you doing on a daily basis to reduce your carbon footprint? Things like that is what you just need to learn in increments. That's what I've been doing, because there's no way you can know about everything. Hold your government accountable for holding up laws in your area about not using styrofoam, you know, using cardboard instead for takeout containers. You know, there's just so many different areas that we need to address, and it can be very overwhelming. So what I've learned so far from this purpose is just take it in steps and keep getting certifications, keep learning, and then share the information. Social media, you know, doing interviews, making live appearances. Those are all ways to make impact and changes.
There's a lot of discussion on, you know, there's some people who believe in the climate change, others don't, but the fact that New Mexico was very hot this summer, our storms seem to be greater and greater.
The hurricanes, category 4 and 5 hurricanes, I mean, this is proof in the pudding that changes are happening, especially in the last 40 years. And it's because of our carbon footprint being way too big. And so individually, yes, make those changes. Stop using those single-use plastic. You know, plastic single-use is one of our biggest culprits of filling up our landfills. They take hundreds of years to decompose. It's now getting into our oceans, and our turtles and dolphins are getting stuck in them. I mean, it's a real pandemic. It's
Now, you knew some of these things, but what was kind of surprising to you that you learned in the past 3 years?
I think everything that I mentioned, and now that I have this sash, I have a bigger voice to bring attention around these.
So what would you like to share? And again, we're going to do another program. I'm so excited about that, more specifics. But now we have 2 minutes left, Catherine. Chaya.
Yes.
Mrs. USA Earth.
Yes.
What would you like to share with, you can look right into the camera, this one, and tell them, what would you like them to do? You've got a platform right here.
Yes. I think we all need to be more aware about our choices every day, that we make every day. And everyone gets overwhelmed with what is going on in the world, but start with you, because you have control of what you do. So make those daily green choices. You know, turn off the faucet while you're brushing your teeth. I mean, it sounds minimal,
no.
but this all adds up. And, you know, start watching the videos on social media and YouTube to educate yourself. And maybe make a partnership with a local nonprofit so that you can make a bigger impact in your community. And so it is possible to make change. Just breathe. Find your resources. You can follow me on social media. I can give you many, many ideas. And I hope to inspire you to make change around eco-wellness for yourself and also for our planet, Mother Earth.
Very wonderful. So how can they find you? I know you're on Instagram, but again, what you turned the COVID epidemic, the COVID, all of us felt this pain, your personal pain in your life. You are a living example of turning that around.
Yes,
and making something
I
of
have
it.
definitely learned how to champion on making lemonade out of my lemons. So, but this is what I want to help others also do. And that's why I am here.
What is this first step? It's tough. It's tough to turn those lemons into lemonade.
Well,
but
I think any change that you need to make in life, you need to make a decision of I'm going to make the change. And then there's different tools that you put in your tool belt. You know, for me, I do affirmations daily. I lean into my holistic health practices like acupuncture, Japanese Reiki. You know,
there's a lot. We're going to talk about that.
Okay.
Catherine Chaya, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For being part of this program. And how can they find you?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Mrs. USA Earth. You can also find me at The Catherine Chaya, and I'm also on Facebook at Catherine Chaya, which is CZAJA, and also Mrs. USA Earth.
Very good. Thank you so much, and congratulations. Best of luck in your upcoming pageant and for all that you're doing. And I look forward to talking to you again. And give us a teeny bit we don't have time for a promo, but Catherine Chai is going to be on again as we discuss eco-wellness and so many other things, and she's going to give us more specific tips that you and I can perhaps start on. Again, what we can start right now is a big smile that Catherine has. Thanks for watching this program. I'm Diane Kinderwater. Make it a great week with your family. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Issues and Answers with your host Diane Kinderwater is presented as a public service to inform, educate, and better the lives of New Mexicans. To comment on today's program, email us at info@kchftv.org or call us at 505-345-1991. Join us again for Issues and Answers with Diane Kinderwater.